and welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Thursday, June 21st. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain, and many of the stories right here can also be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com, and here are some of the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Sports have always played a big part in Jodi Gillette's life. Her first memories are watching her mother play shortstop in fast pitch softball. As a child, she would watch her dad as he coached a high school basketball team in cross country. Gillette, an enrolled member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, said her parents pushed her to excel in both academics and sports. The same drive that led Gillette to play basketball at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire has led her to the White House, where she advises President Obama on policy issues affecting Native Americans. Today, Gillette has been recognized in Washington, D.C. with 39 other women who have been named to the Women's Sports Foundation's 40 for 40 list. The list honors women who have made a significant impact on society after playing sports in high school or college during the 40 years Title IX has been enacted. Title IX is a law known mainly for mandating gender equity in high school and collegiate sports. The director of the Bureau of Indian Education is resigning to take a position in his home state of South Dakota. Secretary of the Interior Ken Salazar announced June 20th that Keith Moore is leaving the BIE to serve as state director for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in South Dakota. Moore, an enrolled member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe in South Dakota, has led the Bureau for the past 2 years. He was selected for the position by then Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs Larry Echohawk. BIE Chief of Staff Brian Drapeau will serve as acting director until replacement is named. The BIE operates the federal school system for Native American students. It oversees more than 180 facilities on 64 reservations in 23 states. One of 3 former Grand Island-based insurance agents accused of defrauding more than 250 investors out of $29 million has pled guilty and agreed to help prosecutors. The Grand Island Independent reports that Kenneth Moten of St. Library pled guilty to mail fraud last week. Moten, Stella Lavia, and James Mossett were the principals of First Americans Insurance Service, which had been under investigation since a 2009 bankruptcy filing. Nebraska Attorney General John Bruning compares First American's alleged fraud to a Ponzi scheme in which investors are promised unusually high returns and early investors are paid out with money from later investors. Moten said he would cooperate with prosecutors and testify against his former business partners. Lavia and Massett have pled not guilty, and they are scheduled to return to court on July 5th for a status conference on the case. Moten, Mossett, and Lavia were indicted in late 2010 on 25 counts, including conspiracy, mail fraud, and insurance fraud. Maximum sentences for the charges range from 5 to 20 years in prison. First Americans, incorporated in 1980, had touted services to American Indian tribes in more than 20 states before it failed. A Somali man accused of killing the mother of his child and 3 other people in Minot, North Dakota last year has pled not guilty to murder in all of the deaths. Omar Mohamed Kalmio, 27, is accused of killing Sabrina Zephyr, the 19-year-old mother of his infant daughter, along with Zephyr's 13-year-old brother, Dylan Zephyr, a 38-year-old mother, Jolene Zephyr, and Jolene's 22-year-old boyfriend, Jeremy Longi. The Zephyrs were members of South Dakota's Yankton Sioux tribe. Kalmio's trial is set to begin on October 15th. Court documents indicated it's expected to last at least 3 weeks. Sabrina Zephyr was found dead in her home on January 28, 2011. The baby was found there unharmed. The bodies of the 3 other victims were found in the same day in a home in another part of the city. All 4 of the victims had been shot. The head of the largest group representing Native Americans and Alaska Natives said federal and state governments should provide voter registration at Indian Health Services facilities. Jefferson Keel, president of the National Congress of American Indians, said in a phone interview this week with the Associated Press that the health facilities should be designated voter registration sites in the same way state-based public assistance agencies are under the National Voter Registration Act. He said the facilities are ideal for voter registration because they're in many tribal communities. Indian Health Service spokesman Diana Dawson said the agency had no comment at this time. Only 2 of every 5 American Indians and Alaska Natives who are eligible to vote were registered in 2008. Keel told a gathering of tribal leaders this week at the opening of the mid-year meeting of the National Congress of American Indians in Lincoln, Nebraska. He also said an estimated 1 million Native Americans and Alaska Natives who are eligible to vote are not registered. For as many as 2,500 years, red pigmented pictographs of animals in geometric shapes at a rock shelter along the Snake River bore the silent testimony to the presence of the Nez Perce Nation and its ancestors. On February 7, 2010, it took just a few minutes for 3 vandals armed with cans of spray paint to cause roughly $100,000 worth of damage that has required the services of a rock art conservator to remedy. 2 of the vandals, Freddie Michael Burnell, 21, and Tyler James Carlson, 23, were sentenced in March, with Burnell to spend 3 years behind bars, and Carlson headed to prison for 4 months. This week, the 3rd member of the vandalism party, 25-year-old Jared Bovenkamp, was sentenced to 5 months in prison, 5 months home detention, and 200 hours of community service for that vandalism. And that is another roundup of news from Indian Country. On this edition of Native News Update, we want to say Pinagigi for joining with us, and come back again soon.